there's a real possibility. There's a real possibility that Auston Matthews scores 50 and 50 this year. And if he does, there will be those who will say, put an asterisk next to it. They won't, because that's not how it works. But there will be those who say that they should. Now, currently he has 16 goals in 17 games. He has 16 goals, 9 assists, 25 points. He is pretty clearly the league leader among goals. Second on the list is Brock Besser, but Besser's played 3 more games. Then you've got Leon Draisaitl, Tyler Toffoli, and Ehlers with 10 goals, which trails the 12 goals put up by Besser. Then there's 6 players tied with 9 goals below that. So, yeah, Matthews probably ends up winning the Rocket Richard Trophy this year. And there's discussions of even Selke nomination, because Joe Thornton started saying, hey, this guy should be nominated for Selke, and other people have noticed he plays very well at both ends of the rink. Matthews is an elite level player, absolutely. But, and this is where people are going to argue the asterisk, 8 of the top 11 scorers in the NHL, goal scorers, are in the North Division. And it's not that there's a bunch of elite level goal scorers up here as much as this is the division of fun, where you score as many goals as you can. Last night's a good example. Ottawa scores 3 goals. That would be enough to win in most divisions. But as Brian Hayward said during the Anaheim broadcast, yeah, 3-0 winning games in most divisions, probably not the North. Because the North, kind of known as being goal happy. So yeah, 8 of the top 10 scorers being in that one division, that again, you're only playing in your own division, may look like the numbers are skewed. So let's look at his numbers in games versus teams this year. He has 2 goals in 2 games against Calgary. Calgary currently ranks 15th in the NHL in goals against at 2.81. He has 3 goals in 3 games against Edmonton. They rank 25th in the National Hockey League in goals against per game at 3.33. He has 0 goals in 3 games against Montreal. They're number 6. They're the top team in the league. Toronto's number 11. I didn't put them on the board because we're not talking about Toronto's defense. Montreal 2.53 goals against per game. They're number 6. They're tops in the North in that regard. He has 6 goals in 5 games against Ottawa. They are 31st in the league at a goals against per game of 4.11. He has 5 goals in 3 games against Vancouver. They're 30th at 3.6 goals against per game. And then against Winnipeg, he's only played him once. No goals in that game. They're 16th in the league. They show as having a 2.81 goals against average. They're listed below Calgary. They both have a 2.81 goals against. They're both middle of the pack in the league. But that's where things get interesting. So in 8 games combined between Ottawa and Vancouver, he's got 11 of his 16 goals. Now, 8 games means that about half of the games Toronto's played this year have been against Ottawa and Toronto, the worst defensive teams in the National Hockey League when it comes to goals against. Now, Vancouver's been getting better, and Ottawa's not as bad with a 4.11 as it was, but these are some 80s numbers being put up by these teams. And Matthews is definitely feasting on them. Now, the schedule is going to get tougher because they have 10 games against Montreal, 10 games against Winnipeg, which means they have 9 more coming up against Winnipeg. They have 7 more against Montreal before the end of the year. And then they have 9 each against Ottawa, Vancouver, Edmonton, and Calgary. So they're over halfway done with Ottawa. So if he's going to reach 50 goals in 50 games, he's going to have to score some goals against Montreal to make it happen. Because even now, with this incredible run he's been on, he has 16 goals in 17 games. It is extremely difficult to get a goal per game in the National Hockey League. Last year, we were talking about David Pastrnak. We were talking about him in November, and I kept saying he's going to fall off. It's going to happen. And people were like, Shannon, he's such a modest Bruins fan. He keeps saying Pasternak's going to fall off. I don't think he is. And then he did. He scored 23 goals in his first 24 games, which was ridiculous. And then it fell off. He ended up with 48 goals in 70 games last season. He led the league. So that tells you that Auston has a very good chance of leading the league in goals because he's already built up such a huge buffer. And then Ovechkin in 2018-2019, I remember him starting with 12 goals in 14 games and us having this discussion then as to whether or not Ovechkin would get 50 goals in 50 games. There was a lot of discussion and articles and everything, and then he fell off too. He wound up with a mere 51 goals in 81 games. Still an excellent total, but it shows you that Pasta and Ovechkin, these are two elite level goal scorers, and eventually you will have a drought. Eventually Matthews will go 5 or 6 games without a goal, and I'm sure the Toronto media will be completely rational and even-handed about it. Right? I'm watching you, Toronto media. So when we look at the 50 and 50 club, it is very, very exclusive. All right. Maurice Richard, of course, 1944-45. He did it in 50 games. First player to ever hit 50 goals. The schedule was 50 games, so good thing he did it. Mike Bossy in 80-81 became the second. And he did it in 50 games in 80-81. And then Gretzky happened. Wayne Gretzky did it 3 times in 4 years. And we still have people saying, well, he wasn't the greatest. Okay. 81-82, he did it in 39 games. It was ridiculous. 83-84, he did it in 42 games. And then he became a slouch. In 84-85, he did it in 49 games. So, yeah, that Gretzky guy, pretty good at getting the goals. And also leading the league in assists at the time. So, it was good luck stopping him. 88-89, Mario Lemieux joined the club. 50 goals in 46 games for him, and then Brett Hull. Amazing run for Brett Hull, 2 years in a row. 90-91, he gets 50 in 49 games. 91-92, he got 50 goals in 50 games. And then you have the unofficial. So the players that get there and they get 50 goals in 50 games for them. To officially get 50 goals in 50 games, it has to be the team's first 50 games. I know. It drove me nuts because one of my favorite players is on this list, but it's not an official 50 goals in 50 games because he only did it in 50 games he played, not 50 games the team played. All right. So Yari Curry is the first unofficial. He got 50 goals in 50 games, but it was the team game number 53. He did it in 84-85. The same year Gretzky did it in 49 games. Good luck stopping Gretzky and Curry. Good luck. Just the idea that they had 2 guys who had 50 goals in their first 50 games. 2 of them. And they're on the same line. Nobody could stop them. That just wasn't a thing. And I wonder how many of those goals scored by Curry were off of passes from Gretzky from behind the net. McGillney in 92-93, 50 games. Or 50 goals, I should say, in 46 games. It was the team's 53rd. Mario Lemieux did it twice. But, of course, he was having injury problems, which made it more remarkable. He still got to 50 goals. He did it in 48 games in 92-93. That was the team's 72nd game. 50 goals in 50 games in 95-96. That was the team's 59th game. Cam Neely did it in 93-94. He did it in 44 games for him, which was 66 games for the Bruins, because at that point his body was breaking down. But he still got 50 goals in 44 games with this guy Adam Oates passing him the puck. Man, just absolutely ridiculous. And then guys who got close, didn't quite get there. Bobby Hull in 65-66 got 50 goals in 52 games. It's a shame he didn't get it because then Bobby and Brett both would have had that mark. Charlie Simmer in 80-81 had 50 goals in 51 games. So close. Mario Lemieux, 87-88, he had 50 goals in 51 games. So he was very close to having it in back-to-back seasons right there. Bernie Nichols, 88-89. Everything went right for Bernie Nichols the first year Gretzky was there. He had 50 goals in 51 games. I have no idea who that Bernie Nichols was. We didn't see that scorer before that. We didn't really see it, not at that level, and we didn't see it after that either. It was just this magical year he had where he ended up with 150 points and 70 goals. Joe Malone, 1917, 1918. He probably would have hit that mark. He only played 20 games and had 44 goals. The most ridiculous goal scoring that there is. I'm not going to say Matthews doesn't get there because we've already seen that in the North that goal scoring is up. It's very, very high in the North. But goal scoring is going to become more and more difficult as the year goes along. Scoring will come down. Power plays should come down in number, which means fewer power play goals, fewer goals overall. And so it's going to be tough for Matthews to get to 50 in 50 games. We have a 56-game schedule. Can he get 50 in 56 games? I think he can. But again, the question that then would get asked will be, okay, so he got that against teams in Canada, but if he played for the Capitals, if he played for the Bruins, if he played for the Devils, would he have been able to get anywhere near that? And in the end, Does it really matter? Because does Curry get 50 goals in 50 games without Gretzky? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below regarding this topic. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.